Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Eli Nishmas Mordechai. The Daf has become a staple of our day. I'm going strong since times Daf Beis. I drive my son to school every day, 45 minutes from Hollywood to Miami Beach. 45 minutes a day. I don't know if it's back and forth. It's one way. 45 minutes each way. We listen to your Daf Yomi shir and get a healthy dose of Torah before we start our day. Unbelievable. Whenever we hear the Good Morning Rabbi Isai, my 8-year-old son always asks me, Abba, did you send in my video yet? I always tell him I forgot. Let me send it in today. Well, here's the video of my son Aaron giving a hearty good morning Rabbi Isai. I can't wait to see the smile on the president's face when he hears it in the car on the drive to school. Hi. Thank you for all that you do. I can't thank you enough for having such a wonderful and entertaining shir. We're planting the seeds of Daf Yomi with joy in our young kids' minds and hearts. Keep up the amazing work. Looking forward to seeing you in Miami for the Siyum, January 25th. Your Talmud, Jordan Schiller. Here you go. No. Gary, come on. One more time.
Good
No.
morning, Rabbi Isai.
It's my fault.
Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
It's my fault. Sorry, Gary.
2, 3.
Long time listener, first time email. Baruch Hashem, I've been doing the daf since the beginning of Brachas. I started on the different Magid Shir. Oi! I have tremendous yizkors to the previous Magid Shir. But you're so much better. No, they don't say that. I started to help me understand the Gemara structure, but ultimately transferred over to you because that wasn't consistently posted. Not his fault, but it made it difficult. Okay, taking notes. He takes notes every day. Lots of pausing between. And then when I review, I heard about you on Meaningful People. I decided to give it a try. My kids have noticed the intro and told that I recorded, may Hashem give you the ability to continue to Torah. I wanted to make a slight correction, if I may. P.S. Sephardim, in general, actually stop eating meat following Rosh Chodesh. However, when it comes to showering, taking haircuts, we Sephardim cease doing that during the Shavuot Shechalboi. Yeah, I got a few emails about that. I think you were referring to the Teimanim who eat meat up until Shavuot Shechalboi. Wasn't going to bring this up, but I mentioned it on YouTube, and somebody said that you should bring it up. Thank you for everything. Yonatan Amzaleg MDY since Ksubes. The Reb Eli, I wrote you about a month ago regarding my barb in the Five Towns, who said he'll watch a shir daily on the shop's TV after I told him that I was listening to it while waiting my turn. Lo and behold, I'm here now, and he reported that he's been viewing it since with his customers. Took a picture, and we'll send it separately. Chuck Levner, I don't know the name of the barber in the Five Towns. Givaldic. Why watch Shtusim when you can watch this shir? And this is a picture of the video. Rabbi Isai, the guys from Brooklyn, if you can send me the video, it'd be better.
How you doing?
I got it, but it doesn't go on PowerPoint. Send me a different version of this. But here's the get-together on Motzei Shabbos, this past Motzei Shabbos. So, the Koilo is sponsored. Leilu Nishmas, Chayo, Bas, Yosef. The second sponsor of the Koilo. May we always be able to support Torah, and may the Torah protect us from any harm. The Masechta is sponsored. Sgula, Tomechia, Kı'yakov, Vi'al. Parnas HaChodesh, Jeff Rosner, a great friend of MDY. Leilu Nishmas, Yosef Simcha Chaim, Zechariah Ben ybl'c Chaim Shlomo Yehuda. I know for months everybody was davening for him. Many Tehillim was said, many Svarim, I don't know how many Svarim. I know that 2 Shisha Sidrei Mishnah were taken already completely by MDY, and the Olam is very, very sad. The second sponsor, Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of my dear departed loved ones included in my recent Yontav yizkors, Leilu Nishmas Zechrya b'Moshe, Leilu Nishmas b'Zlאל b'Moshe. The sponsor Yoim, Chana Beila Frydman, in honor of my husband Shmuel Frydman, whose birthday it is today. Shkoyach, that's very nice. And a second day in a row by Mordechai Sapoznick, Lzaicher Nishmas, my great-grandfather, my namesake, Horav Mordechai ben Horav, Aaron Rabin, Zechariah. He was a direct descendant of the Baal Shem Tov, Zechariah. May he be ybl'c in the time of Mishpach and all of Klal Yisrael. Yesterday, in the whole, I was very shooken up about the Rosner situation, and just to say it again, Yesterday, Mordechai Sapoznick had he dedicated the day Lzaicher Nishmas or a Feivel Cohen or a Shraga Feivel ben a Reb Eli HaKohen Zechat Tzadik Livracha, who's nifta yesterday, the day before. Did anybody chap who he is? What he is? Vadei HaShulchan. Okay, but nobody. Okay. Fine. Say it again. Reb Eli, here we go. We're holding by a brand new Mishnah. Here's a shaila to contemplate before we get a little bit into the sugya. If somebody, this is a very controversial, some people are gonna take offense to it, some people say for sure, but we'll start out slow. If somebody doesn't pay taxes in America, he cheats taxes, is he over Isser, not over Isser? Huh? No. Taxes.
Evade or avoid?
Evade taxes. Dina de machusadina. Huh?
Evading is allowed. Cheating is
Okay, so that's what you think. And if it's Aser, what kind of Isser is it? This is the rice of Leisigzol. Anybody think about it? Anybody care about it? Does it matter? Huh? Yeah.
Is he Yerushalmi?
What about in Eretz Yisrael? Evade taxes in Eretz Yisrael. Does the government have the right to take taxes? It's a mitzvah.
What if he pays in both countries?
How do you know? What, you learned this? You know this? You studied this? You're just saying it misvara from your boich. Misvara from the boich. Okay, good. So we're going to have to see inside what it is for real, what not. Zog the Gemara. Says the Mishnah. The Heilige Mishnah sponsored final day. Leilu Nishmas Tzipor Fega Bas Rav Tuvi Zechariah Livracha. Now we're talking about Nidri Einsim, right? Different Nedarim that happen by force. Noidrim laharagin. If a guy is a killer, he's Jewish, but he's a killer. He will kill you if you start up with him. He will kill you if you try to avoid him and not give him money. Well, a charamim, do you have a ganav, a Jewish ganav? Well, a meichsen, and a guy that takes taxes. Now, what's going on here? You make an eder. He's about to take all your fruit that you worked really hard on. You have $10,000 worth of fruit piled up in your storage facility. He comes with a gun. He says, listen, I'm going to kill you. Load it up onto my truck. So you tell him, I'm making a neder that the fruit right here is not good for you. It's all truma. You're Yisrael. You can't eat it anyways. It's truma. I'm making a neder, it's truma. You're allowed to do that. Says the Rosh, you're talking about a killer. He already killed 25, 26 people. He's a known killer. But this tzaddik, he's very makbid on truma. That he won't eat. Truma, you tell him it's truma, he won't eat. Unreal. So this brings to mind many, many stories. Nachman loves this one. He saw it with his own eyes. And I'll say it again, I have to say it. One of my relatives, a very close relative, came to visit me here in Bet Shemesh. Unfortunately, this relative is Mechal Shabbos. He eats nevelos and treifas and everything. But he came to visit. Gave him a lot of cover. I said, maybe you want to come to shul. He said, yeah, okay, fine. He came to shul. Nachman is a witness. The guy, he died in Shemona Esrei. And after Shemona Esrei was over, he stood like a stone wall for 10 minutes. He wouldn't move. Why? Because the guy behind him was davening Shemona Esrei. He doesn't go back 3 steps if somebody's behind him when he davening Shemona Esrei. He's Mechal Shabbos. He's over every is in the Torah almost. But he does not go back 3 steps. It's a beautiful thing. I think there's something to learn from here. But on the flip side, yeah, at least he has that. At least he has that, huh?
Those guys at the hotel, they were singing Yosef, crying.
Oh, yeah. Those guys.
Chametz.
No, Maisa Shaya with another one of my relatives. Maisa Shaya. The guy, somebody had the machlo or whatever, goes into a doctor on Pesach. The doctor was a Jewish guy, but he wasn't religious. So he was eating a cheeseburger. Pashat a cheeseburger, the bun, chametz, the whole thing, cheeseburger. He's over, I don't know, it's Israel, a bunch of Yisurim eating. And he asked the wife, so what did you eat? So tell me about your style. She said, I had to dip the thing in the salt water, and then I had gefilte fish, and then I had a knedel with the soup. He said, you had what? You had gebroks? He went nuts. No, Bemis. He went crazy. He couldn't believe that a Yiddish person going to eat gebroks on Pesach. You had gebroks? Can't believe it. Okay, fine. And finally, because we have a very long daf, I just want to say this Maisa over again. I have to tell you this Maisa. There's a guy who ate some of his wife's fish. He tasted it, and he told his wife, it's spoiled. You got to get rid of it. So the wife, she's about to throw it into the garbage. She says, what, are you crazy? Give it to the neighbor. Give it to the neighbor. So he knocks on the door. The neighbor's nebuch. They don't have money. Knocks on the door. We have some fish for you. He hears, 2 days later, the neighbor got really sick. He ate some bad fish. He got really sick. So he went. He's vakachayla. Eventually, they bring this guy to the hospital. He goes to the hospital. And then the guy dies. So he goes to Levaya, and then Menachem Aval, the whole thing. He comes home and he tells his wife, he says, and you look how many mitzvahs we did with this fish, and you want to throw it out. Agabanim, going back to this guy. I love these guys. These guys, no, Be'emes, we have to, everything is in proportion. You know why I realize why I'm going on and on and on. Be'emes. I was in the hotel, and Meister Shaya.
That's what we're talking about,
no? The furthest thing from Tuna Bagel. A 70-year-old chassid, a very distinguished looking guy. He told me this Maisa, and I went crazy on him. I mean, I couldn't control myself. A lot of people came to see why I was screaming. He tells me that there was a bacher, a Maisa Shaya, a bacher, one of the chassidim took off his payas. But the Maisa, he learns very stark. And the Rebbe said, he shouldn't learn anything. Once you take off your payas, don't learn. So it's I don't understand what you're talking about. But that's what the Rebbe said. I said, let me ask you something. Why do you have payas? Yeah, beautiful payas. Why? Is it in the Torah? Is it the Rabbana? No, it's a minig. I said, it's because he was over on a minig. That's why he's telling him not to do the Raisa. How does it make sense? That's what the Rebbe said. And he brings me a right from Tanam de Velio that you could argue on what it says in the Torah. Whole mice, I'm sure. I thought he's crazy. And somebody's going to say, he's not crazy. I'm crazy. Fine. But that's why I'm going on this tangent. So you have to take everything in proportion. It's okay, he's a hoireg, he's a killer, everything's gewaldig, but he's very makbid on truma. Very makbid. So Mela, you're allowed to make this neder. Fine. It's not truma. It's not truma. He said it's truma. He's lying. He made a neder, a false neder. What exactly he said, the Gemara is going to explain his lashon. Or he makes a neder shein shel beis hamelech. You can't touch this fruit because it's owned by the king. Aval pi shein shel beis hamelech. He mamish lied through his teeth. He's lying to save his property, and that's okay. B'shami oimrim bakol noidrim daf chav ches Amud Aleph koyach chutz mibishvua. You cannot make a neder. You can't make a shvua. Let's just see the pasuk again once we're here. It says in the pasuk, "Leisisa Shem Hashem Elokecha Hashav, Ki lo yinaka Hashem Eis Asher Yisa Shmuel Hashav." HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't forgive. There's still from all the averos. Shvua is one of the worst. It remains there. You're not going to use Hashem's name in vain to get out and then make sure that you save your fruit. A neder is one thing, not a shvua. This is not a shvua shav. This is you're doing it for a reason to save your property. That's okay. Say beisol. You don't offer the killer, the ganav, the moiches. You don't offer him a neder. If he says, really, it's truma, make a neder. Let me see you make a neder. Then you do a neder, but you don't offer it. You don't start it. No, you want to save your stuff. You want to show that you're serious. You say, I swear, I make a neder. So Bishamai say, even a neder, and when he tells you to make the neder, only exactly what he says. Make a neder that this fruit is yours. Don't stick in other fruit. Don't stick in your wife. Don't stick anything else into the picture. Word for word, what he tells you, that's what you do. Even in other things. Ketzad, give me an example. Omar loy, Emar, the guy tells him, Koina mishti, repeat after me. My wife is in a neder, I'm not going to have any, she's not going to benefit from me, nanishly. Koina mishti nanishly. I want you to say these words, says the killer. He's a Talmud Chacham. The killer, Talmud Chacham, makbid on Truma guy. He knows exactly how the nether works. Say these words that if it's really Truma, my wife, your wife, in other words, is not going to have any benefit from you. And what does this guy say? I'll one-up you. I'll stick in my sons also. I don't care. I'm so confident that this pile of fruit is Truma. Obviously it's not. I'm going to stick my sons in it as well. I won't have any benefit. They won't have any benefit from me. Bishamay say, no. Because the guy said, your wife, so you say your wife. You stuck in something else, in addition, that's your problem. Now you have to suffer. Now your sons can never benefit from you. But your wife could, because that's what the guy told you. That was his.
The guy's such a Talmud Chacham, he knows what you're doing.
Oh, the Gemara is going to ask that in a second. Good kasha. The guy's from Chacham, he knows all the Terim, all the things. He understands, he knows tricks. So let's see if the Gemara addresses it. Says the Gemara. Says the Mishnah. You're right. The bad guy only asked you to make a neder about your wife. You stuck in your kids to. I actually just read recently that when one of the tricks, when they interview a potential killer or something, if the guy says a lot of extra information, that means he's a bad guy. Because the liars, the killers, they believe that if they tell the police a lot of stuff, random stuff, the police are going to believe them more. So I went here and I came there and I went up and I went down. They throw in a lot of stuff and they pick up the detectives pick on him very quickly. Like if this guy is talking a little bit more than usual, he's overcompensating. This guy also. I want you to make a neder on your wife. Okay, I make it with my wife and my sons. Look, I'm Amashaying Emes. Okay. Says Gemara. We're talking about the moiches, the guy that's collecting. And in those days, basically the way it works, you see from how the Ran talks, the Rishonim speak, the king, the ruler, he didn't go around collecting himself. The king doesn't go around. So he gives the tax, it's a franchise, exactly. You pay me X amount per year. I know there's about 1,000 people in this town. Pay me $10,000, 10 person per head. You break your head with these people. You give people breaks. You could take more money from other people. It's your thing. When the king makes a law, it becomes law. You shouldn't break that law. So how could this guy try to avoid taxes and meches from this guy? It's dina de malchusa. He should be paying, and if you don't pay, you're ganav. Lesigzol. It's the raisa. Omer Rav Chinina, Omer Reb Kahana, Omer Shmuel. We're talking about a guy that just makes up his own stuff. He's not basing it on anything. He's going lefnim shus hadin. He goes after everybody, takes more than he needs to. Such a guy, that's not dina de malchusa. That's the opposite of dina de malchusa. He's using his clout. He's using his whatever his position to hurt people. That's not meches. That's not dina de malchusa. The Bei Reb Eli Omar b'moiches ha'emed me'elov. A guy just decided on his own. It's not part of the malchus. He decided on his own. He's going to start collecting taxes. A bad guy. He has a gun. He forces people. One of the guys from the Kupet Tzedakah told me that after a big tragedy in Eretz Yisrael, in the neighborhood, he says almost every single time you'll see people pop up and come to shul and collect money for the tragedy. You should know that they're ganavim. Not always, unless they take credit cards and it goes specifically to an organization. The guy collects like this and you give him cash, be very wary. That's when these ganavim come out. They're oimid meileim kind of guys. Now, Rabbi Zai, if you can, please, let's read the Ran inside together. 10 lines from the top of Chav Ches Amud Aleph. B'moiches ha'oimid me'elov. The guy stood there by himself. Shaloi b'mitzvahs ha'melech, says the Ran, nobody told him to do this, so it's not din machusa. Because of our Taisvas, the Ran brings Taisvas. The dafke b'malchei oivit kechavim. We're talking about goyim. Omar the din machusa dina. Then this halacha applies din machusa. B'nei sha'aret shaloi. America, England is owned by the government. V'yachal loymer lohem im leitasu mitzvasi egar sheschem yonaretz. He owns the land. You don't want to pay him taxes. He kicks you out of the land. Aval b'malchei Yisrael loy. But in Eretz Yisrael, the kings of Yisrael, it doesn't apply. Why? Lefi Eretz Yisrael, kol Yisrael shutfim bo. Nobody has the right to kick out a Jew from Eretz Yisrael. So if you don't have the right to kick out a Jew from Eretz Yisrael, says Tosfos and many Rishonim, that the government in Eretz Yisrael, the king in Eretz Yisrael, doesn't have a right to demand taxes. It's not his. It's yours as much as it is his. There are Rishonim that argue, but I want to bring it to everybody. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm reading Tosfos. The Ran brings this Tosfos. He doesn't bring the other Rishonim. Now, even if you hold that Dina, the Malchusa, Dina, does not apply in Eretz Yisrael, like the Ran says, and Tosfos said. However, there are certain rules, like job-related things, the regular rules, not taxes, the rules that apply, people accept it upon themselves as a minhag, so then that does have a rule of Dina and Malchusa Dina, even in Eretz Yisrael, they say. But Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says, in America, for instance, if you try to evade taxes, it's not hafkas halva. The halacha is by a guy, there's a musik of hafkas halva, maybe we shouldn't go into it with YouTube and everything. Hafkas halva, you're not allowed to steal, but hafkas halva, if you're allowed to, but not in this case, is Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. The Shulchan Aruch Horav also paskins that evading taxes is Issa D'Oraisa, he says. You should be machmer, that's Issa D'Oraisa L'Sigzol. Okay? Going back to that thing, when it comes to a possible Issa D'Oraisa L'Sigzol, unfortunately, people are lenient. When it comes to minhagim of gibraks or whatever, gemish is like the worst thing that a person can be over in his life. But at least learn the sugya. You know what I'm saying? Before you evade taxes, learn the sugya. See, maybe there's some Rishonim that say it's Issa D'Oraisa. Maybe not. But at least learn. I'm not a Rav. I'm not passing. I'm just bringing to people's attention that it might be more problematic than you're aware of. Because I asked people here before the shir, like, yeah, it's Yisrael for sure. This not. Like the opposite of what you guys said came out from what we just learned now. That in America is much worse than Eretz Yisrael. Okay, fine. Zog the Gemara, shehein shel beis hamelech v'af al pi she'enon shel beis hamelech. He swears, he makes a neder, that his fruit is owned by the king. Don't touch it. So, as the Gemara, heichi nodar. What's a neder? A boy said, what's a neder? Let's think about it. What's a neder? Neder is, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, or I'm not going to do X, Y, Z, and if I do, this chayfetz, right? A neder is a chayfetz. On the chayfetz. The shvu is on the gavra. So I have to take a chayfetz, I have to take some sort of action and say, I'm not going to use this computer ever again. I'm not going to drive this car. I'm not going to, it has to be on a chayfetz. So what exactly did this guy make a neder here? What was the words? I'm swearing you can't make a neder. Oh, it's a neder that it's the king's. What did you answer on yourself? Nothing. That's a shvuah. I swear that this is a king's. That's a shvuah. We're not talking about a shvuah, we're talking about a neder. So what did he say? What's his lashon? Oh, he does make something asur. All the fruit in the world shall become asur on me. If this is not owned by the king, so I am answering. I make an neder. This is the king's, and if not, everything I won't eat food ever again. And once he says Yasru, as the Gemara, Israel kol peri alma. So what is he going to do? He just made a neder. He made everything asur. But Oimer says the Gemara, we have to be talking about where he says Hayoy. He says, I won't eat fruit. I won't eat any food today. I'm making an neder. You big ganav. You want my $10,000 worth of fruit. You should know that it's owned by the king. And if I'm lying, I'm not going to eat any food today. So that's basically what Nachman asked. The guy is not a shaita. He hears what you're saying. He hears a big fat neder. Ooh, the guy is not going to eat fruit for 25 minutes. Shkoyach. And that's why I'm not going to take your pile of fruit. It doesn't scare him. He's not impressed with your neder. It's not a good neder. I got to tell you this Maisa. I even made a chart for it. So this is a Maisa Shaya. A group of Jews went to look for Tashmish Kedusha in like Ukraine or somewhere around there. So you got one of Judaica. One of my relatives, he's famous. He was Nifter, but another one, the Stefanskys in Lakewood, they're big into. They're famous. A lot of people ask me, what? Here, yeah, that's theirs. It's Stefanskys. You the auctioneer. Genazim. Rabbi said, go to the Genazim. Yeah, Genazim. Keep it in the mishpacha. So they went. Not the Stefanskys. A group of people went to like one of these in the Soviet Union over there, and they found. I actually heard one of the stories that they open up like Gemaras and stuff, and they rip it open. They found like a Haggadah, a page of Haggadah in there. It was worth, I don't know, I remember, like one of a kind. It was worth $100,000. Anyway, they found Sefer Torah, and together with the Sefer Torah, they found the Keser, silver crown. So they had a problem. They didn't know how to take it out. The Sefer Torah, they got permission because it was like the Russians didn't care. But what about the silver crown? So they came up with a Gevaldik Achab. One of the guys that was with them was a Ger Tzedek from Africa. You wrote the story? But what you don't have is the picture of the guy taking it out. That I have. Yeah. Here, check it out. Look at the screen for a second. Anyway, he showed them their passport, Gablunki Kapaka, whatever from, he's a big prince from Uganda, and this is the crown that he wears. He comes into the airport with this massive crown. Ayin and Nachman sells his book. Which book is it? I think it could have been you. Could have been you. This couldn't have been me. But okay, fine. And he walked in, and he walked right through the thing with his crown. All right, Givaldik. Mavriach min ha-mechas, evading taxes and stuff like that. Zok the Gemara. Mam Shaganav over Issa Deraisa, trying to evade Russian taxes. So listen to this, what the Gemara says here. Nobody's going to believe him. Says the Gemara, Ba'omer beliboy hayoim umoitzi b'svasav stam. You know what he does? He thinks in his head today. He makes a neder. He doesn't say how long the neder lasts for. He says, I'm not eating fruit. And in his brain, he screams, today. The guy of the Ritzach doesn't hear him. Now, let me ask you a question. What if he said to the guy, I will never, he uses the word never, I will never eat fruit for as long as I live. And in his brain, he screams, hayoim. Does that work? Rabbi Shomer, what are you tying up? Why not? Oh, beautiful. Mamish, the lashon of Taisus over here. Rabbi Shomer said, because he's contradicting himself. When you contradict yourself, you say never, and in your brain you say today. That's a contradiction, and then you cannot dvarim shebelev and dvarim. The only time that dvarim shebelev dvarim in our case only is when he's not contradicting; he's just explaining. He says, "I won't eat fruit," and he says in his brain, "Today." Okay. It's real dvarim shebelev and dvarim. The gabi yointzin shani. Oh. But l'maisa, the halacha is, it's dvarim shebelev. It's in your heart. You can't explain something in your heart. That's not. You have to say it. But because the guy put a gun to your head, shani, we are lenient with him. It says in the Mishnah, Bisham say you could use any neder. This is a little bit of a freebie because we're not really going to be discussing all of this. Just one line of it. He could only say a neder exactly what the guy tells him to say. He's allowed to add. What's the situation? He added his sons. We had this in the Mishnah, right? Word for word. Now, this is what we need. Now, if you look in the Mishnah real quickly, 2 lines down from the top. Right? You remember those words? Don't offer him a neder. That's what Bishami say. We're talking about a neder in the Mishnah. And Beisil say you could offer him a neder. Bishami say you have to wait until the guy says swear, not swear, but make a neder. Okay, fine, I'll make a neder. Beisil say no, you could offer it. Now comes Ravuna. Omer Ravuna, Tana. Beishamai oimrim lo yiftach loy be shvua. Doesn't say neder. Shvua. Now we're talking about something completely different. So the Gemara is going to ask like a contradiction. In the Mishnah it says neder. Now all of a sudden you're talking about a shvua. The same halacha, but instead of saying the word neder, b'shvua, don't offer him a shvua, say b'shamai. They still say you could even offer him a shvua. It seems like from the Braisa, don't do a shvua. Shvua is very chomer, lo yinake. But a neder you could give him. And another thing, it says in our mission before, you can't do a neder. What's going on here? Now the second halacha says don't offer him a shvua, but it's mashma you could offer him a neder. But nah, that's not true. You could make any neder you want, just not a shvua. Says the Gemara, the simplest answer. There's no contradiction. The Mishnah is talking about a neder. Why? To tell you even a neder which is very light compared to a shvua, Beishamai say do not do. And the Braisa is going to tell you, you could do a shvua according to Beis Hillel, even though it's very, very chomer, you're allowed to do a shvua. That's it. To tell you two chidushim. One in the Mishnah, one in the Braisa. Fine. Did I say the whole thing? No, the Braisa and the Mishnah are not talking about the same thing. This is what the Braisa is talking about. A separate halacha. If somebody goes to the Rav, can the Rav look for a Pesach to get him out of his shvua? By neder, we know you could do so. And look, did you mean it like this? You mean like that? Had you known XYZ? Not by shvua. B'shami say not by shvua. But still say yeah, shvua is the same thing as a neder. Says the Mishnah, new sponsor for the Mishnah. In schos, you continue Yatzlachen, limit Torah. At the schus to meet Moshe Cohen. Yeah, it's Moshe Cohen, right? No? Oh, I did have a schus to meet Moshe Cohen, but somebody else. Okay, I thought it was him. Sorry. Whoever it is, I'm sorry. Did I meet the person that's sponsoring? Most likely. Harei netiyos ha'elu karban im einon niktsasos. Says the Mishnah, sponsors schus, continue Yatzlachen for limit Torah. You see these fruit? You see the sweet? I'm being magdashit. It is Moshe Cohen. I met Moshe Cohen. Shkoyach. Hi, Moshe Cohen. Of course, you're going to edit that part out so you don't look like a fool. Okay, geschmack. Only I'm allowed to look like a fool. Again, to make me look like a fool. Shkoyach. Imena niktzatzit. So he makes his fruit a carbon. He makes his fruit kadosh. Kadosh Lashem. I give it to the Mizbeach, to the Beis HaMikdash. It can't go on the Mizbeach. The Beis HaMikdash will do what they need to do with it. They'll sell it. They'll take the money and use it for karbanas. But he says an interesting lashon. All these fruit will be a carbon, will be hegdish, im einon niktzatzos, if they don't get cut off the tree. Now, what fruit in the world doesn't get cut off a tree? Every fruit that ever existed, besides the ones that are on the tree right now today, every fruit from Sheish came off a tree, fell off the tree. There's no such thing. The tree eventually is going to fall down. After 200-300 years, there's no such thing. So what he's saying is a little bit of a shtus. And the Gemara is going to go into it. Talazu carbon. This talis should go to the Beis HaMikdash and made in the surface if it doesn't burn. Now that didn't always happen. Not every talis burns. That's very rare. Yesh lohem pidyon. What should it say here, Rabbi Isa? What should be the words? Yesh lohem hegdish. It's hegdish, or not yesh lohem. Hegdish, period. What's yesh lohem pidyon? Pidyon is the after. What's the word? Fact, after effect, after fact, whatever the word is. The remedy. Once something is hegdish, then you go and you redeem it with money, and the kedusha goes, instead of from this piece of fruit, it goes into your money, and you have to take the money and use it for hegdish, whatever. But you redeem it. Why is the mission telling us what to do with it? Just say, hegdish or not hegdish. Okay, says the Mishnah, Harei netilas ha'elu karbon ad sheikotetsu. So these, what if a person says, these fruit should be a carbon up until the point that they are reaped and taken off the tree. Talzu carbon ad shetisaref. Not im einon nisrefes, but up until shetisaref. Turning to Daf Amud Beis, as it's supposed to continue being able to support Torah and to finish Shas Reb Eli, for Shlomo Baruch ben Sarah, Ita Yehudas Bas Mindel, Latzlochas ben Yom ben Ita Yehudas. Ein Lahem Pidyon. In that case, there's no pidyon. The Gemara is going to explain. We'll see that tomorrow. Says the Gemara, the wording is off. We're listening Kedoshos, Ben Kedoshos. Why do you tell me the remedy instead of telling me the halacha? The halacha is that a person says, Im Einon Niktzatzos, these fruits should be a carbon. If not, they become kaddish. Says the Gemara, I did the Bailu Mishnah Seifa, Eilam Pidyon, because the end of the Mishnah talks about a case where you can't redeem it at all. Not at all. We'll see the Gemara. So Mela, we're just mimicking the Seifa, and that's what we do many times. The Reish, the Seifa have to mimic each other, rhyme, easier to remember. Hechinada. What's the neder? What's the problem? The problem is he's saying that all these fruit should be a carbon if it doesn't get caught. You don't reap it. Now the problem is that everyone is going to be reaped. So this word imloy niktzatzois is imloy niktzatz, whatever the lashon is off. Of course, fruit eventually going to fall off the tree, but he limited it to today. Today, it's not going to be reaped. And the day went by and it didn't happen. So then what's the big chiddush? Pshita. There's a tremendous amount of wind, and he realizes that they are going to fall today. So he made a neder based on that assumption, and he was wrong. Now, just like if I think there'll be chizik for one person, even though everybody knows it's not about the daf, it's about the yomi. I'll say it again and again. I know everybody. You have to say this joke, even though everybody knows the joke. In case, chas v'shalom, there's one person that doesn't know the joke. If there's one person, you have to say the joke. And they're already standing here for shachar, so we got to hurry up. There were 3 people, real estate guys, that were schmoozing about the real estate. And one guy says, I had a tremendous fire and my building burnt down and the insurance paid me a tremendous amount of money. The guy said, that's nothing. I had a tremendous flood and the insurance paid me much more than they paid you for your building. A flood is so rare. The third guy said, I had a tornado. A tornado went by my building, knocked down my building, and I got even more than all of you put together. And they both looked at the guy with the tornado and they said, and how do you do a tornado?
Afka today, they say that joke. It makes a lot of sense.
What?
It makes a lot of sense. They say that joke Afka today.
Why?
Because you talk about stealing from the government.
Right. I'm not condoning it. It's not even a joke.
Making a joke.
There's a lot of emes in it, unfortunately. Yeah. Zakti Gemara. There was a Zika Nefisha. Very, very... Now, what comes out is almost the opposite of what we thought for a second, because since when it comes to a fire, we're talking about the wind. The way we know that there's a big wind is because of the fire. We're talking about clothing. Clothing doesn't have fire. So obviously we're talking about a situation where there's a fire about to get the clothing. So in Mela, we also have to say that there was a wind that was about to get your fruit. So I would think he never assumed that that the clothing is not going to get burned, that his fruit is not going to fall off the tree. So I would think that he only bases neder on that assumption. And memela, it shouldn't be a neder. Kamash Malon, it is a neder, and everything is chai v'kayom, even though he made that assumption. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. Look at the clock for a second.